Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week's video. Perfect timing actually, I had my SBD London order arrive, so without further ado, let's dive right in and I'll show you what I've bought. So one of the first things I ordered from Louise at SBD London were some new nail forms. Now for a little while I've been using those cheap, like almost goldeny coloured ones that you can get off of eBay, anywhere really. Whilst they're good for starting out, I wanted something that was a bit more sturdier, especially for extensions, as I found that the gold ones ripped quite easily and they didn't hold their shape. Whereas these beautiful holographic ones are super thick and sturdy and incredibly sticky. They are perfect for extensions. They're nice and long. I actually found that one client I had to trim them down because she couldn't get her hand in the lamp with them. But they're really pretty, they're really good, they're really strong, and you'll see how I use them a bit later on in the video. I think this was a roll of about 500 and it was only for 20 quid, so it was really good. The next thing I ordered was a Opal Crush gel polish. Louise has, I think, 6 in the collection of these, and they are absolutely beautiful. You'll see what I do with them shortly. So I got Opal Crush number 4, and you can either use this colour on its own, like this sparkly holographic clear colour here, or on top of another colour. So I put it over the black, and this is SBD London's 001 black. You'll see this in a few of my other videos. It's my go-to black. It's super dark, just a really nice colour to use, and it applies really well, and then you can see it's black straight away. So I pop this in the lamp and cure it for 1 minute. I think I actually do it just slightly longer because I find that the darker colours need a little bit longer to be cured fully. And then I start applying this, and instantly you can see it's gone from being like almost like a white holographic glitter to blue and purple and pink and green flecks in it. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to create a lovely set with it. So I just apply this all over. You know, don't panic about being a little bit messy because the top coat will cover any imperfections. And then again, I cured that for 1 minute. I then apply my top coat. Now, when I do these swatch videos, I don't actually use the tempering top coat from SBD London. This is just a no wipe top coat. I think it's Blue Sky actually, but it works quite well, and it's great for just these swatch videos, just so you can kind of see the whole idea behind it there. So I pop that in, and that cures for 30 seconds, and this is what it looks like at the end. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And, you know, the way it reflects in the light is super pretty, almost like changes colour. It's lovely. I really like them. So I then bought Signature Gel. Now Signature Gel is basically polygel. It's just SBD London's name for it. Now this is the packaging. It's black rather than the blue. It has the directions and all of the ingredients on the back, as well as you know, your normal warning. Then to use it you have to use a slip solution. This smells absolutely incredible, but it's almost a bit like a monomer for acrylic. It just helps it move. I then ordered the spatula just to get it out, and then I have this beautiful 100% Kolinsky hair gel brush. Now I got this in number 6. It's not too big, but it's not too small, and it's perfect for doing cuticle work. It comes like this in this box with this purple outer casing and lid. Now I love the fact that the lid pops off and makes the handle longer. So when you take the lid off and pop it actually back on as a lid, you get a nice little brush that fits in perfectly. So I removed the blue, horrible blue that was on the nails, filled up my slip solution in my little dish, and I started prepping my nail. So here I'm just pushing on my cuticles. And my nails are naturally quite dry, and so is my skin, so please ignore that. And unfortunately the blue stained my nails slightly, and I couldn't get it off no matter how much I used nail varnish remover. So I do the cuticles on all of them. I then go back round with the other side of the cuticle pusher, which just kind of scrapes any of the dry stuff away. This is essential for any form of nail enhancement that you do prepping the nails is crucial to ensure that you have really good adhesion and that you don't have any lifting or cracking or anything. And it also makes it easier just to apply the polish as well. So I'm just finishing up the prep here. Then I just take my buffer and remove any of the natural shine. There wasn't too much on here because I just removed the nail polish. But I like doing this just to make sure that it's kind of like an even surface, and it just ensures that I have a good adhesion for the next lot of product. So I just do this on all 5 of my fingers. Just give it a nice little buff. What I now do is I take a cleanser and I just cleanse the nail and remove it all. I then use the SBD primer and I put this all over the nails. I don't use a dehydrator because my nails were naturally quite dry, and with the buffing and the cleansing it kind of dehydrated them that way. But I just put the SBD London primer all over the nails, and then I get my base coat. Now I use the rubber base coat. It's a little bit more flexible, and I find that I prefer it to a normal base coat. But I pop this all over my nails. Unfortunately, I did a shocking job of recording this bit, and you can't actually see me applying it to much of the nail. I need to work on actually setting up the camera properly, I think. But I just put this all over the nails, and with like all of the SBD London products, they go in a UV lamp for 2 minutes or an LED for 1 minute, and that's what I do now. So here we go, here's the forms. I'll show you how I apply it. You can see it's nice and thick and long. I just think they're really pretty as well. I give them a quick wiggle just to try and shape them a bit better, and I start aligning it up to the nail. Now those 4 little lines there are for you to trim the form and make it fit your nail shape slightly better. I found that this one was okay actually. One thing to bear in mind when you are forming your nails up, a lot of people try and make sure the tabs match at the bottom. I always make sure that the form is pinched directly in the middle of the numbers. This just ensures that I have quite a straight form and that I'm not going to have a really crooked nail, and it means that it's nice and straight and it's going to fit snugly. By pinching it at the top, you can make sure it fits the whole way down properly, and there you go, you can see it's quite tight to the nail. So I start by using the white signature gel, just taking a little bit on the spatula here and popping it on the nail. Now I get my brush, I wet it in the slip solution and just wipe it on my paper towel just to take some of the excess liquid away. And you can see it's so easy to move. You don't have to really push at it or drag it, you just press it and it moves exactly where you need it to go. I trained in gel, so I decided to try polygel just because I found that sometimes builder gel can be a little bit tricky to use. And building the apex was something that I struggled with quite a bit. It took so much practice to get the hang of it, whereas this was the first time trying polygel and it worked so well for me. And Louise has a huge range of colours. I picked up white, clear and Sakura pink, which is just beautiful. It's a really lovely pink. And here you can kind of see I just manoeuvre it around a bit to kind of get the shape that I want. I leave it very, very thin the closer I get to the cuticle because I want the pink to stand out most there for the style that I'm doing. And if you find that it is sticking a little bit, just stick your brush back in your slip solution and wipe off any excess liquid, and you'll be able to move it around again wherever you need it to be. It's such a great product. It doesn't dry or cure unless you put it in the lamp, and again this cures in 1 minute. So here you can see I'm just fiddling around with my sidewalls a little bit. Unfortunately, again, I didn't do too well at filming this bit, but you can just see me pushing it around. I didn't worry too much about my apex just yet, just because I was going to be adding more polygel over the top, as well as some extra gels as well. So again, just finessing it a little bit more here, and if you have got too much on there, just use your spatula and you can scrape it away. It's really easy. So there we go, you've got the basic shape. You can see how I've kept it really thin by the cuticle, and I carried on just playing around with it. I wasn't happy with the shape just yet. There's a really rubbish down the barrel shot of what it looks like. but I wasn't happy with how the top bit was, so I just played around with it a little bit more, shaped it until I was happier with it, and then I popped it in the lamp, and that went in the lamp for 1 minute. So I get my bead of the Sakura pink, and you can see that I put it in the middle, but slightly closer to the cuticle, and I just start pushing it around. And again, I go as close to the cuticle as possible without touching. It does look like I'm touching the cuticle, but I can assure you it isn't. There's just a very, very thin line between the two there. And I do the similar sort of process where I just pat it about until I'm happy with it. I dip my brush in more slip solution if needed, just to make it a bit more pliable. And then I just move it around until I'm happy with how it looks. It looks like it's a really like bright pink, but it's not. It actually blends to a really lovely sort of natural cover sort of pink, and it's great to have on the nail on its own without any white underneath it. Now, to get my sort of ombre fade, I start dragging the remaining pink up over the white. Now, I did find that I had to drag it quite far over the white to get a nice blend, so you'll see that there will be some excess pink on the nail form. It's starting to go up above where the end of the white extension is. If this happens, just use your spatula and scrape it off before you cure it, otherwise you'll have to do some filing to get it off, and that's just extra faff that you don't really want to be doing. So I blended it as much as possible. I tried to get as much of the pink off the white, just because I will be adding another bead to intensify it a little bit, and I wanted to make sure that you could still see the white underneath, but at the same time I wanted there to be a slight pink hint there to make the blend slightly easier. And here you can see there ends up being loads of excess pink. So that's what it looks like. You can start to see that the apex is forming. So I get my next little bead of pink. Again, I push it towards the cuticle but not touching, because you don't want it to touch the skin. You can get contact dermatitis from it, and also can it just irritate, and it means that it lifts a lot easier as well as the nail starts to grow out. So same process, I just start dragging it all over the nail. And you can see that my fade is starting to take place now. It's still quite pink, so I do go over the white and just drag the pink out a bit more, just so it's a bit more of a fade. And you can play around with this for as long as you want until you're happy with it. Some people like more of the white to be showing than the pink. I did a client's nails the other week where they wanted more of the white than the pink, and that's what we did. So you can just see I start dragging it over and the fade starts to blend nicely, and there we have it. So I cured that for 1 minute, and then I just pop my form off, and you can see it does look quite messy here, but it won't be. I give it a quick cleanse to remove the tacky dispersion layer, and then I grab my 150 file and start filing my side walls. Now when I do this, I do grab the side of my thumb here and pull the skin down slightly, just to ensure that I don't file off my skin. Last thing we want to do. It was quite hard to get the filing actually in the camera, so I apologise for where I do go out of it, but you can see I'm just filing up the shape. Now I like using the forms and sculpting because you can get the basic shape there. Filing is the bane of my life, I hate it, but sculpting allows you to just get the right shape and then you can file it down. And now there, I was showing you where my apex sits. It is in the back third of the nail there, and it's quite nice, and there's a side-on view where you can see it, and that's what it looks like from above. I just do a little bit more filing just to make sure I'm happy with the sides of it. I then change to my trusty 180 grit file, and I start contouring the nail, just going over the top of it, removing any lumps and bumps that might be there. And I also take this opportunity to start going around near the cuticle area, just to make sure that that's nice and smooth, and that when it does start to grow out, there aren't any like big lips or anything there. It sits quite nicely. This is my favourite file. As you can see, it's quite worn and a little bit dirty now, but I use it on myself all the time. It's one of my go-to ones, and I actually have this in like a like a sponge file as well, because they're my favourite files to use. I give another quick cleanse just to remove any dust, and you can see it there. And I wasn't quite happy with how one side looked, so I did a bit more filing. And you can file until you're happy. Just be careful not to file too much of your fade away. You can encapsulate in clear before you do your filing, but from where I was a little bit all over the place with the polygel, I just wanted to file it up and neaten it a bit more. So I then used the clear, the glitter builder gel from SBD London. Now they do a glitter top coat, but I just used the builder gel just to give it a little bit more strength. My nails tend to break quite easily. It doesn't matter how much strength and structure that it's there. They just lift and snap, so I wanted a bit more strength there. And this is a really beautiful colour as well. It adds some really lovely subtle like little holographic sparkles. So I push this up close to the cuticle, trying to not break contact with the gel and just dragging it up the nail. And I just do this until the whole nail is covered. You can go back and forth until you're happy with it. The gels are quite nice because they're self-leveling, so they will level out a bit before you cure it. And here I just added some more product, and you can see that I don't actually lift the brush up too much unless I'm just going over little areas. And I drag this the whole way up over the nail, and I will give you a closer look of what it looks like either before or after I cure it. And again, Louise has a huge range of these builder gels. There's so many different colours. There's pastel ones, there's, you know, your neutral pink and pink and white ones as well. So they're all brilliant. There we go, that's what it looks like before we cure it. I pop it in the lamp again for 1 minute. Now I decided that I wanted some butterflies. Now I got these holographic ones off of Amazon, I think. I bought them in a bundle of nail art things, and they're really cute. They're really fun to use, and as you saw there was a huge range of like smiley faces, stars, butterflies, all sorts. So I just use an old gel brush that I use for like nail art and things and glitters, and I just start picking them up and placing them. You can place them wherever you like. I kind of wanted them to be going up one side, starting from the cuticle and going up towards the tip of the nail, where my free edges. I tried not to put them too close to the sidewall because I had to top coat this after, and you will be filing it down to get rid of any ridges or lumps and bumps. There, I zoom in just so you can see it. I did have a few too many on there, so I did play with them, move them about a bit until I was happy with how they looked. Once you are happy with it, pop it in the lamp to cure again. So what I did was, when I put the glitter builder gel on, I put it in the lamp for about 40 seconds, so it was still a little bit sticky. Then pop it in to finish curing again. Now I use the tempering top coat. You could use any normal top coat, but I like the tempering top coat because it's really glossy, it is scratch resistant, and it's hard wearing, so it lasts a little bit longer. And again, that cures in the lamp for 1 minute. I took it out, I give it a bit of a cleanse just to remove any dust or dirt, and I took my 180 file and started filing over it. You'll find that there will be little bits of the butterfly wings that stick up, or some top coat that's kind of bubbled up a bit as it's gone over them, and you just take the file over it to smooth it all out so you have a nice clean finish. And you can do this basically until you're happy with it. I did it for a little bit. I actually had quite a bit of the butterflies sticking out, so I just kept going over it until I had a smooth finish. And the reason you put the top coat on rather than filing over the butterflies is so you don't actually file off your butterflies. The last thing you want to do is file off your design. So the top coat just kind of encapsulates it, ready for the finish filing. And then, because adding some extra gel did change my shape slightly, I just went round and filed the shape up until I was happy with it. and that's what it looks like. So I gave it just a dust off with my little brush, and then I gave it a cleanse as well, just to make sure that I'd removed any dirt. Took the top coat again, and I just top coat the whole nail, from towards the cuticle all the way to the end of the nail and along the side walls, making sure that everything is covered properly and protected. And there we go. I pop that in the lamp for 1 minute just to cure. And then I give it a final cleanse to remove any dirt. Now I do always drag the lint-free pad away from the nail because I don't want to drag any uncured product onto the actual skin. And I do the same I think it looks really lovely, but I do the same process for all of the other nails. For the whole design, I then take the almond cuticle oil from SBD London, put a generous helping all over the nail, just because doing all the cleansing and the nail varnish removing and the filing did dry them out, and you should do it with any set of nails you do. The cuticle oil just helps keeps them soft and can help with nail growth and everything, and that's what they look like. Thank you for joining me. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and you can follow me on all my social media channels, and I'll see you in the next one.